Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, super stoked to give you my quick review of the new Wes Anderson film, Isle of Dogs, which has finally found its way across the Pacific Ocean and onto Guam. Only took it a million years to get here! Now, Isle of Dogs takes place in the somewhat futuristic Japanese city of Nagasaki, which also apparently relies heavily on retro technology for some reason, but I digress. In this city, Mayor Kobayashi has made a decree banishing all dogs from the city to Trash Island, but a young boy by the name of Atari travels to Trash Island, and with the assistance of King, Rex, Duke, Boss, and Chief, they embark on a journey to find his long-lost dog, Spots, and in the process, uncovers the dark truth for the banishment of the dogs. Now, I can honestly say that I am a fan of Wes Anderson and his films. Though I haven't seen all of them, the ones I have seen, I fell in love with. And if I were to describe Wes Anderson's films in a nutshell, they are quirky and delightful. Each one of the ones I've seen fall into that category. Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel, the Royal Tenenbaums, and now Isle of Dogs also falls into that category. This film is quite quirky and delightful, and it's a lot of fun to watch. You can't really go wrong when it comes to the style of a Wes Anderson film. It looks immaculate. The picturesque cinematography, the colors, the design of the characters, I mean, all of it just looks marvelous. This guy has a keen eye when it comes to his visuals. And as someone that doesn't consider himself a fan of stop motion animation, in fact, I would say it's my least favorite form of animation, I was quite impressed by the stop motion in this film. In fact, I would say that this is the best looking stop motion animated film I have ever seen. I mean, just the way that these characters move is so fluid, and like the way that the dog's hairs would move, I'm like, wow, that is quite impressive. The voice acting's on point from everybody. The few standouts include Bryan Cranston as Chief, who gave the most dynamic and layered performance in the entire film, Liev Schreiber as Spots, who was pretty badass, and finally Edward Norton as Rex, who has now mastered the deadpan, dry wit delivery that is prevalent in Wes Anderson films and fits his dialogue perfectly. In fact, he might be my favorite character when it comes to delivering his lines, as every time this character talked, I always chuckled to myself. And speaking of the dialogue, the story here is fun and engaging. I was totally invested in what was happening. I love the adventure aspect. I like traveling on this island of garbage, and it had a very hero's journey feel to it. Overall, I found the story to be very entertaining, and the dialogue is on point once again. I expect no less when it comes to Wes Anderson and his dialogue. The dry humor really works for me, as I was chuckling and laughing out loud in many scenes. There's a line in this film that is so obvious and clever at the same time. It actually caught me off guard, especially the way that the character delivers it. They don't deliver it as a kind of wink wink at the audience. It was a direct line in a serious moment, but at the same time it's kind of funny and humorous, and I was like, okay, that was well executed. A good job to Wes Anderson for his direction, and to the voice actor for pulling off the performance. And I guess the last thing I really liked about the film was the music, which was quite riveting, especially whenever they would do the drum score. Oh my goodness, that got me so hyped and energized. But unfortunately, I do have a couple problems with the Isle of Dogs. In typical Wes Anderson fashion, his style overtakes the film to an absurd and annoying degree, and it's so unnecessary. It just feels like he's screaming at us saying, look at what I'm doing, look at this style, look at this bold choice I made. And look, I get that's kind of his thing, and I will admit, a lot of the choices he made in this film were quite bold, like not putting any subtitles whenever Japanese characters would speak. That's pretty bold because it challenges the audience to kind of get what the context of the conversation is based by their inflection and by the character's facial movement, their expressions. But the problem lies in the inconsistency with this approach, because sometimes there is no subtitles, but other times they'll throw in subtitles for no other reason. I'm like, well, why couldn't that scene just be expressed the same way as that previous scene with no subtitles? And if you're gonna put subtitles for that scene, you should do it for all the scenes. You gotta commit to one or the other. You can't have it both ways. Or, you have translators in the film. Why not just have them translate? In fact, sometimes I was annoyed by the fact that they even had translators. You don't need to put them in there. You could just have subtitles, and you don't even need the translators. Why do you need them? They're unnecessary to the plot. And therein lies the problem. The style does not cohesively mesh with the narrative being told. It becomes a distraction and quite jarring to see. When you're watching a scene and then all of a sudden there's a narrator or a translator, you're like, well, what's the point of having them when we could just have subtitles or no subtitles at all? You have to commit to one or the other, Wes. I was quite disappointed by the romance elements in this film, mostly because I saw so much potential in them, yet they were woefully wasted. I thought the potential relationship between Chief and Nutmeg had a lot of potential as it was cute and adorable. I wanted these two to end up together. The only problem is that these characters share a grand total of 2 scenes together. Just 2. And that's not enough to convince me that they formed this strong bond, that they have this sort of connection. Sure, their conversation is witty, chock full of lots of lovely moments, but the thing is, I just don't feel a connection with them. The same goes for Tracy. I don't buy her attraction to Atari. I get that she's impressed by him, but I don't believe that this girl for 1 second has a crush on this kid. Especially since they don't even meet each other till the very end. And I'm supposed to buy the fact that these two are gonna end up together? Not only that, there's a throwaway line near the end of the film where Atari refers to her as cute, and I'm like, where did that come from? You didn't even know this girl existed. Point being, these romances could have worked if they were given proper development. And it's such a damn shame because the romances in other Wes Anderson films have been done extremely well to the point where I believe these relationships. I rooted for them. And the last problem I had with the film was the treatment of the 4 dogs, Rex, King, Duke, and Boss. In the second half of the film, they're relegated to complete obscurity. They have no relevance to the plot anymore. And that's a damn shame because they were a vital part of the first half of the film, and I like that they were actually involved. They were fun characters. Could they have been more developed? Sure, but we're given enough information about these characters to kind of form an attachment to them and like them. They're charming, entertaining characters, and they each have their own distinct personalities. And I really liked Rex. Rex was a fun character, and Edward Norton did a fantastic job voicing the character. I wanted to see more of these 4 characters interacting with the other dog characters, interacting with Atari, any of the characters at all. In the second half, they do nothing. They do nothing. In fact, I even forgot that they were in the film by the second half. I thought they died. But overall, like most Wes Anderson films, I found this to be a delightful theater experience. I really enjoyed the characters, the story was entertaining, the animation is excellent, the cinematography, breathtaking, picturesque. I really enjoyed this film, and I would say that it's definitely worth watching. If you have a chance to see Isle of Dogs, give it a watch. It's the best animated film of the year. Do not watch Sherlock Gnomes.
I'm dead inside.
But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Isle of Dogs. I would definitely love to know what you guys thought of this film. Do you love it to death? Do you find it to be an epic masterpiece? Or did you find it really boring, dull, and dry? You didn't really get into it? And let me know, what is your favorite Wes Anderson film? And what's your favorite stop-motion animation film? Comment below, let me know. Stay tuned, more videos on their way. And I want to take this time to personally thank all the patrons who have graciously donated to my Patreon account. It's through your generous donation that I'm able to make videos such as these. And if you'd like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, consider donating to my Patreon account. There's a link in the description. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Watt II, the dog lover, known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.